Welcome back, everyone. I'm here with Grandmaster Vidit, who has just won his game against Cori. Welcome and congrats.
Thank you.
And let's just make sure in the chat if anyone can hear or we have some issues with the mic, just to be sure that we will actually have this interview done properly. And before we start with the game, let's have a quick look with the game between Leko and Bogner, if you're fine with it. And they're approaching a very critical position on board number 1. So the last moment that we captured this game.
Wait, did he play H5? Queen G7 is lost, no? On the spot now.
Here, Queen G7 looks winning, yeah.
Queen G7 and Bishop C3.
Yes, it seems
Lost it, yeah.
seems correct.
I thought he after Rook E2 he had to play something else.
The mic? Is it on? Okay. So in this position, it's Leko's to move. So Queen takes G7 seems winning, yeah?
It's simple, I mean. You
Yeah,
can't
followed
play
by
H5.
Bishop C3.
But maybe he was in time pressure, yeah?
Yeah, he had like 6 minutes since move 30 or something.
And then it's very tough with like an open king like this.
Yeah, and let's just quickly mention this position that we last have seen in case he did play.
What was it? So G4?
Yeah, it seems like they've finished, yeah? Or they're signing something.
Yeah, Queen G7 and he resigned, yeah, of course.
Yes, okay. So let's just quickly see what actually happened. We stopped here last time, so
It looks completely winning for white.
yes, and we had hopes for a fortress maybe, but searching for a plan for white, but Leko found a way. He played King H2, Rook E7, Bishop D2, and Rook E8, and now he decided to take on F5.
Ah, okay, yeah. He'll give okay.
Yeah, intuitively I thought G5 might be a good plan, but
But then how do you improve?
yeah, exactly. I didn't find a follow-up. So G5 seems like the right decision. Now Queen D3, attacking F5, Queen D5, Rook E5, and giving back the material and starting with this attack. Queen takes F5, King G8, Queen back to D3, and this seems completely lost.
I'm not sure.
No?
I'm not sure if what Peter did is good because knight G7 or something at this point.
So if Black had played Knight G7,
I mean, of course, white is better, but I'm not sure if it's clearly winning.
yeah, there might be some chances. Probably Rook G5 is the move.
Yeah. Now.
You want to try? Oh, okay. Rook G5, and now
Yeah, it's extremely unpleasant.
yes, and if Rook E7, probably even Rook G2 followed by F5. Let's try this microphone. Okay. So.
Yeah, I think you have to ask Peter about this.
Yeah.
I can
It
just
seems
guess.
very, very close to losing, and now after F5.
So 4 results, yeah, today.
Um,
Yeah, all 4.
Yes. So far, 4 decisive results. Knight G7, Queen takes D4, Knight takes F5, Queen G4 check, Knight has to retreat to G7
Yeah,
and Rook E2.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, because King H8 also Rook E2 and then Bishop C3 is deadly.
Yes, Bishop C3 is coming, and Queen takes G7 is a massive threat.
Yeah.
And if Rook F8, there might be even Rook E8, something like that. What's the
I
win?
was thinking maybe Queen F7. Can you play Queen F7 instead of Rook F7?
Queen F7, say Rook G2 probably,
Yeah.
and
It's
King
horrible.
G1 in case of Queen C7.
Yeah. But okay, Queen C7, Rook F7, and you fight. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
So-
of course very good for white, but who knows?
yeah, it's not that easy to win straight away, but it must be winning somehow.
Yeah, for sure.
So here, Black has made a blunder with H5, and after Queen takes G7 resigned due to this Bishop C3 check with a discovered attack on the Queen. So that's a nice win by Petr Leko, and let's have a look at your game.
Sure.
So the first moment that was very interesting for me. Maybe it's better if you show us the moves.
Yeah, Which
Uh,
moment which you thought? I mean, in the opening there was nothing much happening.
Yeah. The first moment after the opening moves, I'll just make them very quickly, was when you thought for 20 minutes or so.
On knight d5, yeah?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So bishop takes d2, queen
I'll-
takes d2, d6, castles, e5, knight c3. Seems like a fairly reasonable opening from both sides. And now,
Well, I mean, the way black played, I think white should be better, but
Mhm. What is the common move instead of what black played?
usually they play knight c6.
Yeah.
Sorry, queen e7, g3. They play knight c6 here. That's
Yes,
the main move.
and then knight c3 or
Yeah,
something.
knight c3, yes.
Yes.
Because bishop g2 doesn't work. You take and go
and
knight
knight
e4.
e4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was surprised by this choice because it looks like, okay, I didn't everything right and I have the center, I have extra space advantage and I should be better, but in such positions, yeah, you have to be precise to prove it.
Yes.
So I didn't want to play d5, which is principled, but I mean, he can go a5 next,
Yeah, like this.
a5, knight a6. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, it's slightly better, but I was not liking it so much. And initially, I wanted to play d5
Mhm.
because if he plays knight e5, then I just go b3 and have a very nice
Mhm.
advantage because of the extra space.
Yes.
So d5, I didn't like d5, knight d5. Now takes, and rook d8.
Hmm.
And let's say if I play e4, then bishop g4 is very annoying.
Yeah, the d4 square.
Yeah. So
It's
after
weak.
rook d8, I mean, I was thinking along the lines of rook d1,
Mhm.
e4, but it was getting messy.
Yes.
So I thought knight d5 is cleaner.
Yeah. And if he takes,
Yeah, this knight d4 takes ed. Now rook e1. I mean, if I get back the pawn on d4, I'll have pressure.
on c7.
Yeah, on c7.
Yeah.
So I thought he has to play something like queen e5.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a couple of options. Let's say I can play rook d1
Yes.
to exchange queens, or I could play queen e5, rook c1.
Mm-hmm.
But black had some moves here, like bishop f5. If I take on c7, he goes rook c8 and rook c2 ideas.
Mhm.
So after bishop f5, I wanted to play rook c4 and take on d4 with the rook. I mean, I'm wasting a lot of time, but I think still, if I stabilize, I'll be having a decent advantage.
Yes.
So okay, he played queen d8,
Yeah.
rook d1.
What's the point of rook d1, by the way? Because you thought for 9 minutes. And,
I was thinking which rook
yeah.
a d1 or rook f d1.
That's what I imagined, but like, what's the difference in your view? Like,
After 9 minutes, I could not find it, and
Yeah.
I thought, chuck it, yeah. I'll just
That-
play rook f d1 because if the c file opens, the rook will be useful on c file
Yeah.
or something.
that's usually my point. Like, I devote 10 minutes to which rook to make, and no matter what I choose, it's usually the other one is correct.
Yeah,
So,
always happens with every chess player, yeah.
yeah. So,
So rook d1. I was expecting him to play bishop g4, yeah.
yes.
Like d, queen e3, and now some ideas like rook e8.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can win a queen with knight b6, but okay, I was not sure. Rook
Yeah.
d8 and
Yeah.
I was not sure about this position, but okay.
Yes.
Then, like, I have a couple of options like queen g5 and stuff like this. But he played rook 8 very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
d5. I was very surprised that he took with the knight. I thought that okay, after d he'll transpose.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, I wanted to play rook c1, but I thought he has some knight jumps, knight e4. And if I go queen f4, there is some knight g6, and I trap my queen. Yeah.
Oh, you want to be careful of these kind of things.
Yeah, so I mean, if I play queen d4, there is knight c6, knight g4.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what's going on, so I thought, okay, I'll take on e5 first.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe d5 is possible because
Queen.
if he plays c6, he's completely fine. So I have to go queen a5,
Yes.
knight d5, c d5, and now maybe some bishop g4. I mean, it's very concrete. I can play rook c1. I was
Yeah.
not sure what's going on. I mean, white's better, but how much, I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So after rook e5, it's okay, completely fine for me. I mean,
yes.
it's big advantage. Bishop g4, only move.
Rook
And okay,
E1.
rook e1. Yeah, the thing is, I wanted to play knight e3,
Yeah, me too.
queen c8. and I was trying to make c5 work.
Mm-hmm.
dc5, knight g4. The point is he cannot take rook c5 because takes. I have bishop b7.
Mm-hmm.
First knight g4. Sorry.
First knight g4, yeah.
Knight g4 and
And if knight takes, then bishop g7.
bishop b7 because of queen d8 check.
Mm-hmm.
But c5, dc, knight g4, knight g4. Now I was trying all kinds of moves. The problem was like if bishop h3, f5.
Yeah.
It feels like something is wrong with black's position, but if I don't find, a resource, I'll be just pawn down.
Yes.
And
So here,
there were some nice lines. Like I thought, okay, maybe knight g4, rook c5.
mm-hmm.
But okay, c6, and I was not sure. I felt like I'm letting him go for too little.
Yeah.
So rook
Rook
e1, I
e1
thought at
makes-
least long-term advantage. I have
Yes.
long-term advantage. So
Posing
rook
more
e8.
problems.
Yeah. Rook c3. Now I'm threatening knight f6 again because now b2 is not attacked by the queen.
Yeah.
So he played rook b8. I thought it's the only move. I didn't know what he was thinking for so long.
Mm-hmm.
e4. The problem is I can't really do some tricks like rook a3, a6, rook b3. The point was if he plays b6, then I have knight b4.
Mm-hmm.
But after rook b3, he can go bishop e6. And I'll win b7, but he'll get b2. And okay, I'll be pawn up, but too much activity for him.
Yes.
Okay, after this, the other moves are kind of forced.
Knight
What happened
d7,
next? Yeah.
f4, bishop e6.
b3 because if I played rook c3, he has c6 and
Mhm.
c4 is hanging. So I played b3. a5 is probably good. Rook c3. I thought he'll play b6. I was not sure why he played rook a8.
Yeah.
Next moves he played just rook a8, rook b8.
Yeah.
Queen d4. My point was I'm stopping knight c5 because I have e5 always. And if he plays b6,
Here.
queen d4. If he plays b6, then okay. Now with rook on 8, I have some ideas with e5.
Mm-hmm.
He has to be careful. He went back rook b8.
And
Okay, the problem is I'm clearly better, but I need to find a breakthrough to transform the advantage. Knight
Yes.
c3.
So f6.
Because f5, I'm tapping his bishop, so f6 is kind of forced.
Yeah.
Knight b5.
b5.
Now if he plays b6, I had knight a7 to bring knight c6.
Nice.
Knight b5, rook a8. Queen
Queen
d2.
d2.
The thing is, a4 would be very desirable for him, but I had e5,
Mm-hmm.
fe, bishop b7, rook b8, and now probably just bishop g2.
Yeah, it's not so easy. to
Again,
make
knight
a move.
a7, knight c6 is threatened. Let's say if he goes bishop f7, I have knight a7.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think white is better because he can't really move his queen. And this knight is just too powerful over here.
Yeah. So after queen c8, knight d4,
Yeah.
bishop f7.
I think queen c3 is good move because there are ideas like bishop h3 which look tempting, but this way I just stop his a4
Yeah.
and he has no plans.
Mm-hmm.
Queen b8,
h4.
h4. That I felt that g4 g5 is my best plan in this position.
Yeah.
Although I allow him to activate his queen,
Mm-hmm.
bishop h3. I wanted him to put the knight on c5 so that queen is blocked.
Yes.
And if he goes rook d8, at least the rook will not come through the a file and it's a bit passive.
Mm-hmm.
King h2, queen c5, g4. Now I think it's very unpleasant. I don't
Yeah.
know where was his actual mistake.
Probably the opening
Yeah,
was slightly
Dubious.
difficult.
Yes.
Yeah. Knight f8, g5.
Knight g6. King g3 also probably works, but I didn't want to allow some knight f4 like takes, knight f4. I was not
Mhm.
sure what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
Probably I just come back to g2, but I thought it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
So I go rook f1.
Knight h4.
It's forced because fg, I have the intermediate move knight f5.
Yeah.
So knight h4, gf6. He should play probably g6.
Or queen b4.
Sorry, queen b4. I go queen
Yeah.
b2 simply.
Yeah. Nothing changes. Probably.
Yeah, I thought he has to try somehow play for tricks. Like if I go king g3, then g5. Somehow, if he gets e5 square, he'll be completely fine.
Mhm.
But I thought I can just simply play bishop g4, stopping queen h5 ideas, and
Yeah.
should be better. But still, it's, I mean, in time pressure, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Gf6 is just a bad move. After rook g3,
Yeah.
I think it's just busted.
Just
Because
finished. Yeah.
knight g6 is knight f5.
Yeah.
There's no defense.
Maybe he missed 96 check or something.
Yeah, he probably missed 96.
Yeah. And
If he plays rook e6, this queen h5, I can just take even on f6. I thought
wow.
knight f3, king g2, and nothing really happens here.
Yeah. Bishop takes e6, queen f6,
Bishop
bishop
f7.
7.
Yeah, I just win everything with check,
Yeah. And
and now
rook
queen
g6.
e6 is deadly.
yeah, and he resigned.
Yeah.
So overall, a very good game. I have so many questions, but it seems like we have the other two players, like two games
we
that
can
are
make them
finished.
wait, it's fine.
Yeah. I see you know each other by now.
No, because I'm playing him tomorrow. So
Ah, that's good. That's good. So that's nice. So I'll just ask a quick question about this topic of critical moment in the opening, because a player cannot really spend 20 minutes on each move, both energy-wise and also from the clock point of view. So when you have a critical position in the opening or the middle game, you usually decide to stop and think, like in this case of when you played knight d5, and here in this position where you played knight d5, and we can say by the fact that you thought for so long that this has been the critical moment for you in the opening, right?
yeah, I mean, the thing is, if I play some optimal moves, I can just lose my advantage.
Yes.
So I have to be, precise to
Yes.
keep
So
the edge. So that's why I thought for so long.
So
Maybe 95 is probably correct.
so
I'm not sure.
normally in chess, throughout the game, you can't possibly play perfectly, but there are some moments where an inaccuracy leads to a higher price later on,
Yeah.
and let's say a more difficult move that
Yeah.
will come up. And it's a tough question for me to answer as well, but just in general, how do you diagnose, okay, here I have to stop and think, because if I make the wrong plan, then maybe it will be more difficult.
If I don't see a continuation, I stop and think. And if I
Yeah.
see, I play it.
Yeah,
That's
even
as
if it's
simple.
not perfect. So if you don't see a good way, you feel like you're better, but you don't see a good way to prove it, yeah?
Yeah, it depends actually from the position. I mean, in the end, for example, I would like to think, but I don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the opening, at least I have the luxury that I can take some time.
Yes, and you were, during this decision, like, were you considering other options? Were you like,
Yeah, like d5, I said.
yeah, and
I was trying to see after 95, I was going deeper in that line, and I thought that I get reasonable position, and there's no reason why I should not play it.
yes, and
But yeah, it's a bit of a long thing. I would also like to reduce it something.
and my question that follows up is like, what happens if you think for more than 10 minutes, which many people, like let's say chess trainers, used to recommend not to do, and then you discover that you missed a move, and then you have not much time, but also
I think
not.
it's too general. I mean, some positions require you to think a lot.
Yeah.
Let's say if there are a lot of variations, you have to think, you have to calculate.
Yeah,
And it's too general. It's just a guideline. Like,
Yeah.
okay, don't use so much of time in some position, save it.
yes.
But if the position requires it, you have to respect that.
Yeah, and if you have domination, like in this game, you don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, I started to play fast when everything was centralized and
Yeah.
my moves were easy. But
Yeah.
to get that position, I had to think.
So basically, there's no fearing time pressure when you have domination, and you can just move.
Sorry?
When you had domination in the position, you can just move back and forth. You don't mind having time pressure when you can easily reach move 40.
Yeah,
in
I
the
was
time
just
control.
shuffling around because not much was happening in the position. Like, it was like, as you saw, he was playing rook 8, rook b8.
Mhm.
So nothing much was happening, and I was also just moving around and getting closer to the time control.
Yes. So and one last thing before I forget, because in the rapid you started off with a suboptimal result, and then you came
Awful,
back.
awful,
Yeah.
not
I'm
suboptimal.
trying to put it mildly, and you came back very strongly towards the end of the tournament. And my question is, generally, how do you deal with it during the tournament when you have such a case and you don't have much time to recover between the rounds? Like, how did you find the strength to win so many games?
It was painful because the game I lost against Peter, I was completely better and I was playing for a win. And in the end, when we had like seconds, he had offered me a draw and I refused, and then I lost. So it was, I was kicking myself. But okay, once you win a game, when you win a game, then you develop some confidence because the next game what I played was also not very good.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, after winning a few games, okay, I got the rhythm and my confidence increased. And
Mhm.
okay, in Rapid and Blitz, I've seen that you generally have the streaks, yeah?
Mhm.
Sometimes you play well, so you win a lot of games in a row.
Yeah.
It's not the same for Classical.
So when you felt this pain, you just allowed yourself to focus on the games and felt.
Well, I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew that, I mean, if I win 1 or 2 games, I still have a chance.
Yeah.
Although it was a very bad start. And
Okay.
it still costed me because I'm behind on the leaders
Yeah.
board. But okay, many games left.
Okay, so thank you very much for showing up here and
Thank
for
you.
answering these questions. And we have Vidit, one of the best players in India. Thank you very much. We're going for a short break.